Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Imas Dwi Lestari. I'm a student of Islamic State University of Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta from class 4B. And here I am to retell and review the story by the book that I've read. And the title is Essential Lives Mark Zuckerberg by Marcia Amidon. It's a biography book which telling the story of Mark Zuckerberg, the creator of Facebook. This book contains of 114 pages, 9 chapters, and this book will making the readers know how was the life of Mark Zuckerberg before he became to be a Facebook creator. So, want to know more about him? Keep watching this video until the end. Don't skip it, and hopefully you get new knowledge or insights after you watching this video. Enjoy the video! So starting with the first chapter by the title of Person of the Year, this chapter is telling about in December 15, 2010, Time Magazine chose its annual Person of the Year, and Mark Zuckerberg was one of that person. The Person of the Year means that a recognition of the power of individuals to shape our world. In this case, they choose someone who has not only shaped the world, but who has actually changed the way people communicate. So, from this chapter, Mark Zuckerberg, a young man who is only 26 years old, but has received his worth in 2010 as one of the youngest billionaire in the United States on the Forbes magazine list of wealthy people in 2010. And it's all happened because the popularity of the Facebook. It's pretty cool, isn't it? And you know what? The beginning of that has coming from a college dormitory room where Zuckerberg put together a website of students' face and invited comments on them. It has grown and evolved quickly into a social networking site that is easy to use and popular among many ex. When he sat in his Harvard dorm room one night and thought of a prank to play on his classmates, he didn't know that it would lead to creating something that will change the way humans communicate with each other. It's a very cool prank, isn't it? Which only made by genius men like him. So this chapter is talking about the birth of Mark's family and also Mark's childhood. Mark was born in Dobbs Ferry, New York on May 14, 1984. Mark was born from a harmonious family. His father, Edward, was a dentist, and his mother, Karen, had worked as a psychiatrist before quitting to help Edward in his dentistry office. Mark grew up with 3 sisters, Randy, Donna, and Ariel. His older sister, Randy, became head of marketing for Facebook. And one thing that I like from Zuckerberg family is they were a family fun which loved to play pranks on each other when they were children. The Zuckerberg children were also creative. During one winter vacation, they decided to film a parody of the Star Wars movies called the Star Wars Trilogy. And I think this is the reason why Mark grew up to be a creative young man, and also a genius man. His family factor is very supporting of his growth. Mark, knowing computer programming, start by the time he was in middle school. He was already using computers and writing software for them. Edward, a man, and also his father that taught Mark about Atari Basic, a program for the Atari gaming system that allowed users to create their own basic computer programs. And by the time he was 13 years old, Mark had created a basic computer network for his family that he called ZackNet. Mark also began creating computer games at that time. So that's Mark attended Ardsley High School in Ardsley, New York for 2 years and continued to attend Harvard University in Cambridge, Massachusetts. He would study psychology and computer science, and he already had a reputation as a computer programming prodigy, and it was at Harvard that Mark started the biggest thing that made him become one of the creators of a new communication history for humans, namely Facebook. So, continue to the next chapter. In some cases, he wants memories to be stored. Mark thought of creating an app for him and his classmates to be able to save each other's memories and photos of their class. He also created it with that intention and created face masks on November 2, 2003. At that time, almost every student at Harvard used it, and this realization would eventually lead to the birth of Facebook. And in chapter 4, on February 4, 2004, was the launching of Facebook for the very first time. As you will know, guys, the site spread more quickly than anyone could have imagined, as people emailed their friends to join. Only 4 days after the site launch, it already had 650 members and 300 more joined the next day. Soon, students from other colleges were asking to be included in the Facebook. As the site grew, Zuckerberg realized he would need more help to maintain it and employed his roommate, Moskovitz, to help. And soon, the site was open to students at Columbia, Stanford, and Yale universities, and many more. And the Facebook.com had been in operation for just 1 month, but it already had 10,000 active users. Was started as a project that Zuckerberg created for fun in the first, was quickly turning into a real business. It consumed most of Zuckerberg's time, so at the end of this sophomore year, he moved to California for the summer, assuming he would be back at Harvard in the fall. However, Zuckerberg would drop out of school that summer. If I were him, I think I would also think about focusing on the company instead of going to college, guys, because those who graduated from college may not necessarily be like Mark Zuckerberg, which having a big company. Continue to the next chapter. In this chapter, Mark met Sean Parker after a few times, and Sean Parker is one of the important figures of Facebook, where he is a smart person and knows a lot of things in the business world. So Mark met him to be a president of Facebook for 1 year. The rapid increase in Facebook has made many other companies want to buy Facebook, and one of them is Google. But Mark feels that Facebook is about people while Google is about data. So he doesn't want his company to be bug even with the high fees that Google offers. And then followed by Yahoo, which also want to buy Facebook. But the same thing happened. Mark doesn't want his company to be bought by other companies. And continue to chapter 6. They're talking about Harvard Connection lawsuit. This chapter was talking that in late 2003, Zuckerberg allegedly had spent some time helping 3 of his Harvard classmates, Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss and Divya Narendra. They didn't sue Zuckerberg simply for money, but because they felt what Mark had done was immoral. But actually, Mark created the application with the aim of saving his friends' memory and data in Harvard without any intention of stealing ideas from the ConnectU application. ConnectU application that they created, which is almost like Facebook. Continue to the next chapter. In this chapter, Zuckerberg's vision for Facebook continued to develop. In September 2006, Facebook launched a new feature called News Feed. It basically means anything users post on Facebook, such as photographs, status updates, or groups they join would pop up on the news feed page of all of their friends to see immediately. But instead, Facebook gets a lot of bad comments because it involves the privacy of people who are easily known. So finally, Facebook changed the privacy settings on Facebook. This chapter also explains about Mark, who doesn't want his story to be filmed because he thinks that the film will only show dramatic, fun things, where Mark's life is not that dramatic as will be in the film. So he doesn't want his life to be in film. Next to the chapter 8. In March 2008, Zuckerberg hired a new employee who would make a big difference both at Facebook and in Zuckerberg's life. Sheryl Sandberg joined the company as Chief Operating Officer, specifically to work on advertising and generating income. Her previous job was with Google. She was especially important because of her business expertise, which balanced the fact that Zuckerberg at that time, only 23, was still learning about many aspects of business. From this chapter, it is also explained that Mark went on a tour to Europe and met many of his fans, where people already know Mark as a great person behind the creation of the Facebook, behind the very popular Facebook. So behind of the popularity of the Facebook, there is Mark Zuckerberg. So next, we're gonna talking to the last chapter by this book. So keep watch it. In this chapter, Facebook continues to grow in accordance with Zuckerberg's feeling that Facebook needs to attract users and keep them happy before it worries about advertising and revenue. And now Facebook can be accessed on smartphones so that users can remain logged in continually, wherever they are. And about Zuckerberg's personal life, he continues to be mostly private as he generally dislikes interviews and public appearance. And in January 2011, Zuckerberg was still dating Priscilla Chan, and they moved together in 2010. Zuckerberg is learning to speak Mandarin Chinese, and he and his wife took a 2-week trip to China in December 2010 to sightsee and visit her family there. You know what? I like the quote that mostly I like from Mark in this chapter is when he talks to himself every day, asking about, am I doing the most important thing I could be doing? Because it means that he would be always think to build something that makes a really big change in the world. It was like how great he was. And guys, okay, this is the end of the story by this book. Hopefully you can get the lessons learned after knowing my review video. I'm really sorry if there was much of mistakes spoken by me. I hope you all guys okay and healthy. Thank you very much for watching my video. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you later.